Okay, we'll try this and how this camera works. First is a roll drill. So for hammer, make sure you have a high toe, stay on the heel, and you want to make sure you sink as you roll. So as you roll the toe, sink and step. Okay? There should be no weight on the right foot, so you have to have it, but they should pretty much be like a Karate Kid position. Down. So you just have them do that over and over again. A little step. When they hit, if you look, the foot should be straight ahead. This one should cross, barely forming a T. Okay? And in this position, both feet should be on the toe. So just stress high toe, high heel, close step, no weight going forward. An issue you'll see a lot is they'll be late in step or keep a straight leg. So watch for a straight back left leg. Watch for them stepping out too far and putting weight on the front leg. If you ask them to tap their foot, they have to actually shift it to pick it up. Notice that. So good cues to look for is making it a small step, and also to imagine their head not going back or going forward. So when they try to step forward, almost try to actively lean back. And as long as you sink, that won't be bad. But if they lean back and they stay up, this will be a bad posture. So always make sure that you try to sink down and step. Okay? The hammer, everything wants to be bent. Once they get that step, then you can progress on to a 180 drill, because without the roll step, they're not going to know how to transfer on their catch step. So again, like the video I showed you, hi Murphy, hi, hey, nobody. Okay, so basic degrees, 0's facing the back of the ring, 90 is straight out. I don't know if this video is going to be flipped backwards or not. So basic is left foot's always heel. Watch out, Marsh. Go, let's go, go. Okay, so left foot's always heel, right foot's always toe. And if you want to just get into an athletic stance, and if you want to work, just turn to 90. Murphy, I'll put you in your cage. Come on, buddy. Oh. Get in your cage. Go, get in there. All right. So, hands on hips, line back type stance, and just work on turning to 90 degrees, staying bent, balanced, turning back. So usually I have the athlete do it 3 times. One thing to watch in that is to make sure that when they get onto the heel, again, if they don't straighten it, push all the way back onto the right side. You always want to emphasize, like almost like you're trying to lean into a wall on the left side to keep weight there, sitting onto the left. So from there, then you progress hands on the hips, just turn to 180, turn back, 180, turn back. One thing you want to look for is that legs stay bent the whole time. And when you're doing this aspect of the drill, you know, try to imagine themselves screwing themselves into the ground. So as they go around, try to almost keep sinking and lock your legs in and coming back. That helps them get prepared for the roll step when they actually do the catch. So the next progression from there is just grab a shoe or a bag or anything like that. This helps the kids actually feel the ball weaving. So just do it nice and easy. And you just get all the way around and turn to 180. It's okay if the right foot drags. We're just trying to get the left turn to 180. So it's back, left to 180. And that's all. But try to stress when they get back to the 180 position that they're down and the left toe is up. We don't want to be flat footed. So then, again, do that 3 times, and after that, you progress to the roll step. So with this, you can start without a shoe if you want to get it down first. Just use your hand point to 180, roll, step, and have them check for their weight. Okay, so you don't want them to try to really step over. You don't want them to go forward. You kind of want it to just be like, I'm barely peeking around the corner, getting ready to go back around. So that if I did it with any kind of a speed, I'd be almost facing back around. So the slower you go, the more you have to kind of go forward versus going completely around for the drill. So just around, roll, step. Okay. And if they have issues, you can come around, roll, step, and have them just roll, step again. If they're having issues with the roll, step, just get it over and over and over again. And then it's just, those are the easier parts, is just making sure they get the left foot all the way around, pointing to 180 behind them, and making sure their weight stays on the left when they step. Those are the easy parts. The hard part trying to get people to do is when we're coming into the second turn, is getting the left heel back down. So a lot of people will do 180 and they'll get to here fine, but now they don't know how to get back around. So you really have to stress when you're in this 180 position here, trying to keep your hands here as much as you can, and just trying to turn the heel and getting it down. Okay, this will cause a lot of tension, and that's what helps sling the ball around. So you really hold the position, should be on both toes, left heel high. Try to turn the foot out and get the heel down. Okay. Now once the left heel is down and solid, you want to try to keep your head over your left foot. Okay. So you want to think head goes to the left shoulder, and you're trying to sit on the left heel. Okay. So it almost makes like a post on your left side. Okay. There. Now once you're there, then you can go back around and do a 180 drill. Slap around, back to 180, and then you can step. But you just have to really make sure that they get that concept of not moving everything as it comes down, and really trying to focus on something here. So you can do it like a weight rack, pull into a weight rack, and force them to feel that stretch as they put this down. So just make sure it's turn the toe, turn on the toes, slam the heel down, sit your butt. Okay? That's going to be the one you're going to have the hardest problem teaching. And then from there, it's just progression of the turn again and again and again. Put the heel down, get to 180, turn the heel down, get to 180. But the biggest concepts to look for is just always make sure that the object is turning them. So they're not trying to make the turn, the ball is turning them, and then they're just going forward at the appropriate time. So when the ball is getting around to 180 or middle of the sector, that's when they should start rolling and stepping, and that's where the right foot goes fast. So you almost want to think more, ball's at 180, throwing sector, ball's back at 0. You don't want to think of the ball really in any other places. So you're always just trying to replace the ball. 180 catch, 0, 180 catch, 0. But just always make sure the ball path is what matters. You know, feet being too wide or whatever is fine, whatever's comfortable for them, as long as the weight is staying in the appropriate place. Like you can catch and have a big step, as long as you keep the weight over the left side. My weight's still on my left, even though my step is big. So you just have to see how everybody's biomechanics are, how they sit. If some people are real tall and they kind of lean more versus, you know, people that get real squatty when they throw and they have to get a wider stance. But focus on the ball leading the throw and just everything getting around the 180 as the key. And you just kind of make sure their balance is on point. Just make sure everything is staying left and that the movement for everything is left. So in your catch position, trying to get left, holding left, balls around the left side again. Okay. There should never be any shift to the other side. This is bad. That's why they always have to keep a bent left leg. So I always try to imagine a wall. We're trying to lean into a wall the whole time. And that's what we're trying to be. So we're trying to slam the wall, and then we're letting the energy we have turn us. So if you imagine there's a wall there and you're trying to break it, you let that be what turns you. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it for the hammer. I mean, people overcomplicate it, and that's That's it. Ball moves you. Just make sure your left foot gets pointed in the right direction and your weight stays on your left side. Because when you're throwing and the ball is pulling you, it's going to pull you onto your right and put some weight on it. So in the real throw, you're going to feel balanced, but you have to try to be as left as you can, because the more pressure the ball creates, it's going to pull you to here. So you'll feel this. I mean, this is what you're going to see, but they need to be feeling this. So that might be something they have to say is like, because if they feel upright, they're actually going to be leaning too far over the right, like the ball's taking them too much. So you have to try to lean to the left as hard as you can, because the bigger throw you take, I mean, you're going to actually feel like this on some throws, because there's so much pressure on the ball, it's going to pull you straight. So they have to get that concept of leaning left, even though it doesn't look like people are leaning left. Some elite throwers do it really well, but a lot of times you'll just see it on their head. Their head's like really trying to fight and hold left as much as they can, because if it doesn't, it's going to pull them back out. So I always like to think, there's a wall, I'm trying to get my head to the wall, away from the ball all times. Other than that, that's about it. Throw, a lot of objects, a lot of twists, a lot of heavy hammers just to get the strength in, and then throw some light hammers for just speed and timing. If you throw too much, like 16-pound, like competition style ball, you're never going to get any stronger. It's like if you do a bunch of push-ups trying to get your bench press up, the same weight isn't going to help you. You got to find a different kind of stimulus. So we tried not to throw the competition stuff pretty much at all until almost season hits, and then we start getting accustomed to the feeling of that ball. Yeah, but a lot of just, the biggest thing is just getting comfortable feeling that, trying to move the object ahead of you, and letting it pull you and cause the turn. So essentially they should just really just be posting up on their heel as they drive and just trying to ride the energy around the whole way. So that's another drill you can do if they have issues with it, is just try to post up on the hill and try to get it all the way back around again by swinging the object. The other thing is the release. There shouldn't be a release that's sideways. They shouldn't really try to post up and release and change release, like try to gather up for it. It should be a continuation, as if they're going to do another turn, and all they're doing is raising their arms straight up and letting go of it. So you don't want to sit here and try to arch the back and slam it up. It should just be as if you're doing another turn all the way around the 180, then you're just following the ball up and finishing up. You should always be finishing hands straight up. You should never be anything crossing the face on a finish or down here. You always want to finish here looking through your arms. It's okay if one arm kind of drops off or whatever. Like when I threw, I always came like this, but the right arm is the one that's important. The right arm is what's doing all the work, so the right arm needs to go high. If it's not, they're just kind of ditching it, and they're losing all of the up force. All the up force you get is just from the right arm driving up past the head. What drills you do? You have a 25-pound plate or 45-pound plate, depending on how strong they are. Hold it overhead. Face the catch direction that they'd have. Drop the plate, swing it up, and just back and forth. And once they get more comfortable with that, you can actually do releases. Drop it, just try to release it, and don't really focus on distance out. Just try to focus on getting it as high as you can up, because all the distance is going to come from the speed of the orbit, not from you trying to drive it out. That's pretty much it for the hammer. You just really want to make sure everything is aligned on every aspect. That's the biggest problem to look for, is if they're ditching over the right leg too much. That means they're just getting out of the way of the ball. Always want to post up to the left to move everything. If they're ditching out of the way, it's usually because they're weak or they're trying to move the ball too soon. So if you're weak and you're trying to move too soon, what happens is it's too heavy when it's right here, and you actually end up shifting yourself to the ball instead of actually moving the ball past you. So usually you have to tell them to be a little bit more patient and let the ball move a little bit more, because a weaker kid can move the ball from here, I can't move the ball from back here. So they have to let the ball move a bit, and then they can help it. So you really have to find where they're patient, where they're strong at. Like a really big, strong metal jam, I can just grab it from back here and drive it all the way around. So you have to wait till their strengths build up and just see, where the orbit stays smooth. If you see too much of a jank, it means they usually maybe moved it too soon or moved it too late. So usually anything shifting this way, they moved it too soon. Anything on that like kind of pulls out here, they moved it too late. Like you'll see a lot more on finishes than on turns. You'll see them kind of lift it, and then there'll be like an extra little like nick kind of catch. That means they tried to move too late and the ball beat them. So usually if you see that, they just tell them move it faster, but it's typically going to be a lot more of this kind of issue than it is that kind of issue. So you just got to make sure stay left, let the ball keep moving, and help it out, and say help the ball instead of trying to drive the ball. The better they get, then you can start working on terms like, okay, just try to drive it. On the catch, you can talk about catch the ball versus they get, like you told me before, like beat the ball. That works for like kids maybe if they're trying to get a sense of what's happening. Get the ball out ahead as much as you can and then try to beat it. You just have to make sure that they're being patient again when the ball's coming through and not still just trying to rush ahead. So that can happen if you ever stress beat the ball. You have to make sure if you ever say beat the ball, that you have to think beat the ball, get the ball ahead again, beat the ball, get the ball ahead again. Because this part from here to here is where all the speed's going to happen. If they're coming from back here, they just better be a big old strong dude that's going to chuck it. Other than that, for the hammer, that's pretty much it. So just make sure they're staying balanced. To stay balanced, you gotta stay left. Straight up is to the left. So you always gotta listen. Ooh, calm down. And then always get into the heel. So, I mean, everything else is pretty easy, but they're gonna have a hard time with that concept. It's just, it's always that way. So stress that a lot. Grab onto the weight rack. Just really focus on getting heel down, heel down, heel down. Then they can let go of the rack and then try to do a 180 turn. As far as shot put goes, there's going to be a lot of variation on what goes on. But the basic points you're going to try to look for is start at the front of the ring and then work your way back and kind of see where the problems are that way. So first position is you want to keep kind of like a squat position. You don't want that front heel to the toe board. If this is where the toe board is, it's the shoes, the toe board. Shoes, toe board. You don't want this kind of a power position. Okay. For one, you're like on a tightrope. So it needs to be, if you're looking at it from here to here, it needs to be almost shoulder width apart, as if you're just standing there, okay? So if the toe board is now there, okay, so it needs to be at least shoulder width apart. It needs to be a comfortable position. Now the toes, the left foot should kind of be turned to the toe board, okay? The shot put needs to be more javelin-like than people would really assume, because you want this to be a block leg. If you're coming in this way, you actually can have a lot of shifting because there's nothing to transfer. The more your foot gets straight, the more it's easier to transfer everything. So you kind of want almost like a Charlie Chaplin kind of position for your stand throw. It also makes it easier for the right leg to turn so that everything can go this way, for your hip to move and everything. If this ever gets this way, it takes a lot more time for both feet to turn and you have a lot more issues off the hand. So you want to get everything just set up so it's ready to go as much as possible. And plus this way, it causes a bigger stretch reflex from the knee all the way up into the arm because it's already torquing everything, versus this way you're losing pressure. It's just wasted being back. So just work on getting into that toe position, hands on hips, squat down, and then try to have them just shift back over to the right leg. So it should be about 80, 20, 70, 30, somewhere in there, depending on how strong they are and how balanced they are. So just work on shifting back to there. I always try to keep your head outside your right foot, just like in hammer. keep your head outside your left foot. Okay. Um, it's once we get shifted back here, now let's keep this and try to keep turning away from it. They should feel a big stretch come through, but just don't let this snap in. Okay, you just lost all the stretch you're trying to build. Okay, so just keep going back, come back up, squat down, rotate, shift back, and come back up. Just get comfortable getting into that position. And eventually, once they're a little more on balance, and have them kind of lock holding it, come back, shift, wrap as much as you can, trying to keep this as much as you can. I mean, there's going to be some turn, but we just don't want it to give in. That's just too much rotation, and it takes too much time for everything to get back around. And if they do that, you're going to see a lot of throws that go off to the right sector because nothing's getting around when they're trying to push. So the next step would just to be from stand throws, really. I mean, you'll see some people do throws from the front like this, you know, just straight on. The only way I would do that is if they're having issues with their hands or holding the ball or pushing the ball. You know, if they're doing that, very basically is you don't get them to pull it, you know, pad up onto the fingers, push it in, and then just work on pushing down. Once they get comfortable there, that's just pushing up. And you want to think, they're having issues with push too, is when you're working the left side, make sure that there's never anything, we're never pulling back energy away from us. Okay, we're always, if we're doing any kind of pull, we're always stopping at our center line and then trying to go out from there. Okay, so there's never anything pulling back. You pull back, you're taking energy off. You pull to so that you can extend out from. It should feel more like you're blocking off of a wall, trying to get yourself off the wall, not trying to plow through the wall. So it should be just give a little nudge, push. But yeah, I assume that they're okay with the hands and stuff. So from here, you're trying to get the upper body wrapped as far around as you can, almost, but you're trying to stay level. You can dip down, but it's not going to transfer to your real throw. It's just going to give you like a false sense of power. So you shouldn't really care about how far stand throws go. You should care that they kind of improve, but you shouldn't put an emphasis on that stand throw at 50 feet. You should have an emphasis on, you were at like 42, now you're at 44. That's good. So you want it to be to mimic your full thing as possible. So always try to think that you're kind of like wiping a table. So a lot of it is a lot of practice of that. Just wrapping up as much as you can, and then just kind of coming back around. Just focus on just wrapping up as much as you can and trying to keep this nice table. None of this, nothing coming down and really sinking. We want to try to stay up and torque. Just get as much rubber band effect as we can. You see really tight kids when they try to wrap up, the foot's going to slide or turn or do something, and just really emphasize trying to hold position. Everybody's going to have a different level of where they can get or how much around they can get. Just find whatever is optimal for them. Then next is the actual stand throw. One thing I don't emphasize is jumping into the finish. Once you jump, you've lost all connection with the ground and you're done. So the reverse should happen as a result of the energy going forward from your full throw, not because of you jumping. So always work on holding ground. So I like to emphasize is kind of think like javelin again, is trying to get the energy as far back and around as you can, and emphasize on throwing the left arm first. So the drill is just get the left arm moving, trying to hold everything else in place. Okay, left arm moves only. Try to keep it as flat around as you can, then try to get them throwing the left arm as fast as they can without this moving. You're gonna see a lot of this, and you don't want that. You want speed, frozen in space. If you have to kind of hold the hand for them, you can hold the hand for them. Just hold their hand here as they're trying to push against it. So once you get that going, then you can start the feeling of uncorking a bit before you actually do throws. So back around. The left is trying to get around the left. So as the left hits, you want to imagine the left arm is kind of pulling you to the left leg. Okay, we're trying to get the energy to shift from the right leg to the left leg, just like in a javelin block, same kind of feeling. So it's almost going to be the right leg isn't doing jack crap. Okay, You almost want to imagine that you're wrapping back and trying to almost fall onto the left leg. Okay, if the right leg pushes or stands up, all you're going to do is change the angle of the throw. Okay, so if you watch the angle, if I'm bent down, this is where I'm going to throw, falling on this angle. I'm going to throw upwards. Okay, the moment this right leg stands up, I have just flattened out my vectors. I'm no longer throwing up, I'm throwing flat. And if it pushes up hard enough, you're actually going to be throwing down now. So you have to de-emphasize the use of the right leg. Okay, all your forward energy is going to come from out of the back. That's your approach. Right leg is like a pen step. It's just kind of like a soft, almost non-active kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, it is going to give you a little push, but it's not going to be anything that's like where all your energy and power is coming from. So you want to think the left arm in the stand throw is doing all the work. It's all energy shift to the left leg, all left arm swing, okay? So as you wrap and come back, if you want them to keep reaching so that they kind of like lose a little tension with the left leg, that's okay. And then just have them slam the left leg down hard and throw the left arm as hard as they can, trying to beat the right arm, okay? Because once they hit their moment of tension, the left arm moving is going to start pulling the right side around faster. But they got to start the push the moment they hit that left arm wall. So, I mean, it's okay if they throw the left out big, kind of leave it or block it in. It doesn't really matter as much as long as they're hitting that moment of tension. So a less flexible guy like me can just throw it out here because that's all the flex I have. A more flexible person is going to have to bring in to get that little extra jolt reaction. A more inflexible person like me, if they do that, they're going to have a lot of timing releases and slips because nothing is the exact same motion. For me, a little jerk here changes a whole lot what goes on my right arm versus me just swinging it out fast and leaving it. So really focus on that, trying to throw it out as fast as you can. And from the front, you should be trying to get around the left leg. So it'll almost feel like your left leg's a post, and your head's going to be over your left leg. You're going to be coming around the left leg, and then you're going to be reaching out, okay? The finish should be there, all right? And now when you have a full approach and you do that hard, everything coming through, that's what's going to cause the reverse because everything's going to keep going forward. So just really focus on slamming the left leg hard, throwing the left arm hard, and starting the push once all that happens. So it's not simultaneous, but it's close. It's left, left, right. Okay, so back as much as you can, stand left. Okay, and that's what will kind of cause that reverse C, is this leg staying bent as this leg stands up. Okay, and that takes a lot of pressure off the back. When this stands up, a lot of people have to arch to get the reverse C, versus if you just lower the right leg, you'll naturally have a C. So always stress around the left, around the left. It's the same thing like hammer, same physics. Physics doesn't change. You stay left, you get around the left. Same thing here. You get left, you get around the left. Okay, and then everything else, speed-wise, going to the throw is fun from your approach out of the back of the ring. So really focus on just strong position, back, throw, finish in a nice strong position, up. Okay, so there shouldn't be anything jumping out or anything off balance. They should be able to just put everything straight into the ball, finish, and be strong. I like the left foot completely down, just like a jab block, because it's solid. Now it's easier to get into it and get the transfer in. Things to watch for a lot is just too much shifting here or there. You really just want there to be as minimal movement as you can from the right side, like it's a complete statue. Okay, left side does all the work, and it will pull the right side around. Then you can push once they start feeling the pressure. It's kind of like once everything is lined up in that straight on position, that's where they got to start the push. Okay, if the elbow gets around too soon, they're going to have a lot of issues with their fingers. It's going to hit, the elbow's going to keep moving, and the ball's going to be so far back on their hand that it's going to feel a lot of pressure on the fingers. So if you ever have an athlete that says that came off my fingers and hurt my fingers, they didn't push soon enough. So it's usually a good feeling. It's like, all right, you're moving quick. Now you just got to push faster. You put some arm on it. Now you're good to go. But that'll take a little bit of time to do because usually this brings so much more speed into the arm. They usually wait too long to push it. So as soon as they feel that tightness, they gotta start to push because this rotation is gonna keep everything going straight out. From there, you can do quarter turns into half turns. So a quarter turn is you're getting into position and you're kind of just backing up a bit. It's not really a half turn. It's kind of backing into it here, okay? But you want to see something here, just like you do a sumo squat where you're real strong. You want to keep the feet and the hips out. This causes much more tension than a lot of things you see where people will talk about turning the right leg all the time. All the right leg turning does is waste time and let the elbow get around. If you watch any elite guys, they don't turn the right foot. The right foot stops, they push, and then the right follows through. So emphasizing like a quarter into a stand throw, again, you're trying to keep the weight behind the right leg, but it's almost like a soft right leg, like there's no weight on it. Okay, so you're trying to transfer your weight to your left as fast as you can, but trying to stay behind the right. Okay, and this causes a big slingshot effect when it happens, but you have to make sure they're not doing this and teeter-tottering out. Okay, if that happens, they're not getting rid of the ball soon enough. The energy's leaving them and beating them. So you want to get the back foot kind of turned, pre-turned. So you're always trying to face it like 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Okay, so back, you're trying to keep the left arm back and trying to beat the left leg. I mean, trying to stay behind the right leg, all the way transferring to the left. Okay, they should feel like kind of like a bend. That's where the energy is going to start whipping up. Things to look for is just, are they overturning? Are they underturning? So typically you got to put X's down and aim. Somebody that overturns too much, put an X on the other toe board until they get, more brought up. So don't always expect them to land on the X's. You might have to play around. If they're aiming too far left, put one that's in a bad position to the right, and maybe it'll fix them out. From there, the next one again is just a half turn. You're just backing it up click by click. So instead of being here, you're coming back a little bit more and facing the throw more. Okay. And to me, this is the throw and the spin that's the most important versus the stand throw or the other one. We really don't stick around with stand throws or quarter turns or anything like that. Even the beginners, we just try to go straight to a half turn. So what I try to do again, get the foot turned 90 degrees. You want to be facing going into the ring. Okay. Step up. When you come into the ring, you kind of almost want to reach ahead with the right foot. Okay. Heel should never touch. And you want to keep your head as far away as possible. So you're always trying to stay on this side of the ring. The center's right here. So even as you're coming from here and you're stepping into the ring, you want to try to stay back here as much as you can. Drills for this, you can kind of just come in and make sure they're staying this way. Just to get the feeling of it. It's not really going to be the right position, but that's just a way to do it. When they're doing the real throw, try to keep weight off the right leg. Some things you can use for this, cues for this, you can think it's sink, because as long as you're actively sinking on it, they're never actually feeling themselves put pressure into the ground and shifting their weight. And then just trying to get to the front as fast as you can with the left. So it sinks as fast as you can to the left, okay? I don't know how good the camera shows it, but you want all the left to do the work. The right side, once it hits the middle, think it almost like a catapult clicking back. It's clicking back and it's stuck there, and the left is the trigger, okay? So once you hit the right is a statue. Nothing is moving on that, okay? The left foot is doing all the work. The left foot is what's turning you the entire way, and you're just trying to hold and stay behind the right leg as much as you can until the left leg hits and the left arm hits, and then you can go. But as long as you try to emphasize kind of a right leg, a light right leg, you should be fine there. Again, it's going to take issues. You're going to see a lot of kids, same thing in hammer, they're going to be overstepping and shifting their weight too soon. So you just got to really emphasize on just trying to stay back here as much as you can. So if you do a lot of drills that are just kind of like move the left leg but don't put weight on it kind of thing, okay, they just got to get used to where's their weight, you know, at. It's all about shifting weight for each throw. So I'd emphasize just a lot of drills like that, just trying to keep your weight in one place. Okay, there shouldn't be any shifting like this prematurely. Everything's trying to stay back as this shifts, so that way you get a fling coming out of it. Oh, quiet. Fine, here, I'll let you out. Down. Other thing is, from there, South African. I'm not a big fan of South Africans because it doesn't really correlate to the real throw. Kids try to run too much, and it causes false feelings because the circular nature out of the back, you have to be a lot more patient, and the South African lets you be impatient and get good things out of it. Get in your cage. Oh, you go back in your cage. Get in there. All right. So they're gonna have the hardest time. I mean, that stuff is just all about body balance. So you just do a lot of just over and over again, just balance positions, turn into a position like this, just over and over again. You can just with your hands into that stand throw position, turn into it, and hold. So until they're really in balance, that's the biggest key. Out of that is, again, you're trying to post it on the left side. Okay, so you don't want to be here. You kind of want to cheat it to the left side. And the goal is to turn the left side away from the right as much as you can. Don't think lower body, you know, upper body. Think left side, right side. Okay, left side pulls the right. So you want kind of a good, comfortable position. They're going to be different. You know, he might be more stand up. She might be more squatty. Just got to find what works for them. But you kind of want to you want to keep all the weight on the left leg, just kind of like a stand throw position. You know, you're trying to get the weight shifted back, but keeping it on the left leg as much as you can, okay? So again, it's almost exactly like the front position, just here, okay? As much as you can, but the weight is staying on the left leg. There's not much on the right side. Okay, now you're trying to throw the left and reach to the left as much as you can. So what you want to practice is sit, rock back, reach, and sit over the left leg. You want your armpit to get over it. A little bit bigger base. Back, reach, and sit. You want to imagine like there's a wall straight in front of them. So you do not want them turning like this when they reach. You want to imagine that they're in a thin hallway. They can't go backwards or forwards. They can only go this way or this way. Okay, so the only thing that's turning is the left foot. Okay, so turn and reach as much as you can. And then you just want to keep trying to turn that left as much as you can. Because that knee turning and trying to drop is what's going to cause this big rotation around. So you just want them to get as comfortable as you can with that. Some kids have a really tight hip, tight leg, tight ankles, and they have a hard time turning this as much as they can. But you just got to kind of just get them more and more each time. Just work on them trying to actively turn it until they can get comfortable doing it. So a good drill is just that over and over again. If you want to put a wall right here, have them get in a good base, sit, turn, reach for the wall. It's a little far, but the over practice will help. So just sit, reach, sit, and reach. Okay. And then eventually, you just want to, once they get comfortable there, you want to turn it as much as you can, and then just keep turning it, and then just pick the right side up. And just kind of let them feel everything want to move without you even kicking the right leg. So then it's just doing that over and over again. Twist into it, pick it up, so let it kind of move on its own. As long as this right foot stays put and knee stays out, that rubber band will happen and it's going to want to shoot with you. Okay, so you don't want anything to turn with you. You want to try to stretch it as much as you can so it wants to follow the left. Now from there, you want them to never pass center when they're coming around. So if you're looking from, out in the sector to them in the back of the ring, once they get to there and they pick up, you never want them to keep whipping around past center, okay? So again, left foot should be trying to get to 180, and then we're freezing at 180, okay? The right foot should already be picked up at this point, but that's what we're trying to get to. Left side only to 180 out the back, okay? But as soon as maximum, you want to get the timing so that as soon as the left arm gets out as far as it's going to be, that's when you're going to kick. So you want to think that left stretch will snap the right side. So then it gets to the point where the faster you throw the left arm, and as long as you throw it out to the left this way, it's going to snap the right around faster. If the left does not get out, it's just going to cause everything to keep twisting around out of the back. Okay? So as long as you reach out, the right will come around. If you just keep going around, you're just going to overspin and you're never going to get any drive forward. So throw the left to the left as hard as you can, and then once they're comfortable in those kind of positions, then you work on kicking the right as hard as you can. Left as hard as you can, right as hard as you can. And don't worry about them raising it too high or too low. Just worry about speed and smooth and it getting around. So again, drills with that is 180 drills. So or you can even do it like even less than 180s. You can just do it like quarter drills. So you're coming around, stretch, just kick to a quarter, kick to a quarter, kick to a quarter. So you don't want to keep reaching with the left, but you want to imagine you're kind of again hitting the wall. Hit the wall, kick off. Okay? So the same thing when you're just doing quarter drills. It's just hit, kick, hit, kick. As long as you hit out and don't keep reaching back, you'll be fine and you'll get a jolt almost like you're kind of like riding a skateboard kind of feeling. The biggest one you're going to see is just them not feeling the tightness and just keep swinging around. So never pass. You're always in a glass box. You can't go back or forth. You can only go out. So a lot of times the cue I use is throw your hand. Like if your hand was loosely attached and you're trying to fling it off you, that's what we're trying to do. Maggie shush. So from quarters, then you just go to a 180. So you come back, fill the torque, left, and just try to get all the way around the back position, and just go again, left, left. So you'll get a lot more effortless feel the harder you can throw this and stop it and snap it. The right side's just going to want to turn. So then you're going to get it's all free energy. So when you do kick, you're going to get a lot more out of it. It's hard for me to do real kicks in here and stuff, but so when they do kick, once they're already coming around, you want to just emphasize on trying to kick as hard as you can and trying to get the right leg just a little past out of the back. So they need to start running when that right leg is kind of facing sector. That's when they should be jumping. Okay, if they wait too long, everything's going to over-rotate. So I always focus on that right sector line is where they need to focus when they kick. Kick and go, and you'll be dead center. Okay, if you kick too soon, you're going to land on this side of the circle. If you kick too late, you're going to land on this side of the circle. So I usually put a line like down center just to help them think. Try to stay on the right side of the line. When they try to stay on the right side of the line, they'll usually be dead on it. You're going to see a lot of problems with the kids being on the left side, always going to the left corner, the left foul line. So we do a lot of just knowing where they are in space. So we'll just do here, come around, and just try to hold one leg like that where they're looking. A lot more like that Karate Kid kind of stuff, and hold. So like there, I let my left arm go and kept wanting to carry me around, and I missed. Okay. So you just want to know where it's at, hit, and then you can be free to go. So that's going to be the biggest thing. So a good transition from like those kind of drills to a half turn is kind of a mock South African is what I call it. And you just kind of hold a big leg and then try to twist into it. It's a little more advanced, But I don't like the blending of a South African. I'd rather learn out of the back, a half turn, and then try to put the two together. So I usually just focus on a half turn. Let's just pick the right leg up and come down without coming to it. So when you're looking at it again, just make sure when you're doing half turns, don't shift to it. We always want to try to stay away from it. You're gonna see a lot of problems like this where they're just coming like this, okay? So you want to focus on get the foot out farther ahead. So if I put an X down where they start, I put an X right here. So when I pick up and I put back down, I want to try to aim past my X. So I almost want to reach closer to the toe board. So when that happens, when I bring speed into it, I'm going to be behind it in a good angle. If I aim for the same spot and bring speed onto it, I'm going to be shifted too far on my right leg. So you always, if you watch from the side, you always want to think, you always want to see them being on this side of their right leg. Never want to see anything get this way. If you do, typically what you're going to see is a finish that's going to look like this, a lot of stuff like this, okay? You'll see the right leg come up too soon, like they're going to do a cartwheel. That's all caused by not staying back behind the right. So that's the biggest key for a shot put is just stay behind the right. The farther we can stay back behind the right, the more speed we can bring. So typically if we're having issues with this at the front, slow down from the back to the front of the ring. You'll slow it down until they get a hold of it. Then the better body control they get being able to stay back here, the more speed they can bring into this position. So we'll do a lot of really slow stuff, just trying to get into it. And then as soon as the left foot hits, then just trying to work as fast as we can until they get more comfortable. Then we work on bringing just a little bit more speed and then being fast. And then once they're comfortable there, then we just go balls all out. But those are the basics. So just always think a soft right leg. Right leg does not push, right leg does not jump. Okay, the reverse is going to be a reaction at the front of the ring. When you're running into it and you hit the block hard, once you get rid of the energy, something's going to happen. There's going to be some kind of reaction, just like when you throw a stick into the ground and it bounces, it's going to be the same thing. The stick's not jumping, the energy's going through it. So on the release, those are things you want to look for is the ball is beating the right leg. So it's something we always try to focus on a lot is whenever they go to push, this has to accelerate past this. You don't want any kind of a walkout, that's bad. There will be some kind of walkout fouls like that, it's going to happen, but you want to make sure that the ball is getting through it first. Okay, you want to make sure that the walkout foul is following the right arm, not beating the right arm. Okay, so that's going to be the biggest thing that you're going to see is just lots of this over and over and over again. The only way to fix it is to stay farther and farther back or try to get rid of the ball sooner and sooner and sooner. So aggressive left arm, aggressive left leg, and then right arm. So left, left, right. It's not the same time, but it's dang close. Okay. But the right arm is the last thing that should move. The right leg should not be active in turning. The left leg does all the turning. The left leg, the right arm, and the right leg are just posts that are trying to hold position. That's it. They're just trying to be strong and be as still as you can, just like a statue, and let everything else hit the tightness to push it out. Drill-wise, other than that, I don't do a lot. I do a lot of heavy throws. The heavier they throw, the stronger those little muscles and feelings get. So it's easier for them to control. So we do a lot of just, in the beginning, just learning them, a lot of stand throws, just pushing, getting into the right positions, and the right finishes. Then once you see kind of a progression, it's like, oh, look, you've gained 3 feet kind of out of nowhere. Then I might have them try a light ball just to make sure everything's kind of the same, or a 16 or whatever. Then once they do get there, then we graduate to pretty much just half turns. And that's just all the time half turns. Even when it's trying to learn it, it's better to throw and get the conditioning from bad half turns and just trying to learn the drill than it is from doing drills over and over and over again. So if you do heavy half turns all the time, they're still getting stronger even if it's bad. The arm's still getting stronger, the core's still getting stronger, trying to resist the forces. Um, so that's been the biggest thing I've seen in improving shot put girls and shot put guys is just heavy half turns all the time. And then once they see some improvement, then throw a light ball to, it'll take like 2 days before the light ball kind of feels better and they feel more comfortable speeding up. But I pretty much go like that. It's heavy. And once heavy does good, then we go light. And then once light goes good, we go back to heavy. And just back and forth. So hopefully it just keeps climbing. So heavy goes good. Then we PR with the light ball. Then we PR with the heavy ball. We just keep trying to climb. And the better they get, the PRs get smaller and smaller and smaller. But it's just about seeing, where their averages are and things like that. So just having to keep a lot of notes. And like I bought a whiteboard and just have everybody's name on it and which implement they threw. So it'd be like, 3K shot put, 4K shot put, 5K shot put, 6K shot put, whatever, and it will be their PR for, half turn or full throw, and then just keep track of everything. So you can start seeing trends versus I throw this ball bad and this ball good. So you should focus on the one you're the worst at, and that's going to make your better one better. But pretty much the biggest key for all of them is going to be them being on balance and knowing where they are versus where they need to be. Body positioning, hammer always to the left, shot put always behind the right. Shot put, it's all about transferring weight from the right leg to the left leg. The more weight you get on the right leg, you are in trouble because it takes energy to get it off, and odds are the energy's already out of you and the ball can't ride it like a wave anymore, if that kind of makes sense. What, Maggie? Other than that, that's like a really quick overview, and it still took damn near an hour. Any more specific questions you have, I can go into more detail on it. It's just more talk about the more I get like flustered myself trying to think what it needs to be, especially with these two little crybabies crying at me. So I know shot put's kind of off. If you video like a shot put practice or so, I can give you some cues on it and see how they're doing. And at least help you get in the right direction and stuff. So anytime you can film it, let me know and I'll take a look at it and just tell you what I see. Other than that, throw heavy and just have them be aware of where their balance and weight is at all times. So being able to pick, like in a shot put stand throw, being able to tap the right foot or the left foot, in certain positions will let you know where's your weight at. Where's your weight at? Always be aware of where your weight is at. They're probably going to need a lot of like out of the back drills. I guarantee it, a whole lot. And then just work on a lot of not power positions, half turns, heavy half turns, heavy half turns. And the stronger they get, the easier it's going to be. If they can do like an 18-pound ball, I think you guys should have. Like even have the girl throws 12 or 16, have the girls throw heavy. Don't be afraid of having the girls throw heavy. Other than that, hammer throw, always stay left. Everything is left. Head's left, body's left, ball moves left. Okay. Other than that, you got any questions, let me know. I know it's just kind of gibberish and running through it, but we'll see. And if you need help, just let me know, dude. Send me some video.